Welcome to Android Mate. In today's video, I'll guide you through creating a number facts app using the Numbers API in Android Studio. You can search numbersapi.com on any search engine to get the API documentation. In this project, we are going to use this endpoint. However, you can use them all. The main goal of this project is to demonstrate the API integration in the Android apps. Let's start building an app. For that, open Android Studio and create a project. After creating the project, expand the file structure and open main-activity.class file and remove unwanted code. Then open the layout file of the main activity, and inside the activity we are going to design the front end of the app, which consists one edit text field where user will enter a number and a card view which has a text view to display the facts. I won't be explaining you the UI code. However, for your help I will be providing you the UI code in the description of this video. If you face any issues, you can comment your query in the comments section of this video. I will try to resolve them as soon as possible. So now we are done creating the UI of the app. Open main activity class file, where we are going to write the backend code. So let's start by declaring and initializing the variables. Then create a class file and name it API Utils. You can give any name to this file. Basically, we are creating this file for HTTP GET requests. To get HTTP GET requests, we are going to use OKHTTP. To use OKHTTP, we need to install the package. For that, open your browser and search for OKHTTP. However, I will be providing you the link of the website and dependency in description. After pasting the dependency, click on Sync Now. After this, close this file and go back to API Utils file. Inside API Utils class, create a constant variable, base URL, to store the base URL of the API. Then create a static instance of OK HTTP client that will be used to make HTTP requests. It is shared among all instances of API utils. Then create a public static void get method, so it can be called without creating an instance of API utils, which will take two parameters. Endpoint, a string that specifies the endpoint to be appended to the base URL, and callback, an instance of callback that handles the response asynchronously. Then concatenate the base underscore URL with the endpoint to form the full URL for the HTTP request. Then create a new request object using the request.builder class. The URL method sets the URL for the request, and the build method creates the request object. Then we'll make a asynchronous call, which will send the HTTP request asynchronously. The new call method creates a new call with the given request, and the enqueue method schedules the call to be executed at some point in the future. The callback parameter is used to handle the response or failure. So we are done coding this class. Now go back to main.activity.class file. In main activity, after initialization of variables, add a text watcher on EDT numbers to listen for text changes. Create a fetchMathFact method outside on create method. This method constructs the endpoint URL by appending /math to the number. It then calls the get method from API utils, passing the endpoint and a new callback instance. Callback methods consist two methods which are on failure and on response. On failure will get called if the request fails. It updates txt facts with an error message on the UI thread. However, on response will get called if the request succeeds. If the response is successful, it updates txt facts with the response data on the UI thread. If not, it sets a no response message. Then go to onTextChanged method. We are going to write the logic inside this method because this method gets called as the text is being changed. The logic would be if the input is not empty, it converts the text to an integer and calls fetchMathFact method. If the input is empty, it sets a default message in txt facts. Then go to Android manifest file, where we need to add internet permission. Since the API is not secured and is HTTP, so we need to add a setting file. For that, go to the XML folder and create XML file and name it Network Security Config. Basically, network security config element is used in Android to configure network security settings for an app. This includes settings for secure communication, such as permitting clear text traffic and configuring certificate authorities. Domain config element is used to specify configuration settings for a particular domain. This attribute allows clear text, non-HTTPS, traffic to the specified domain. By default, starting with Android 9, Pie, clear text traffic is not permitted for security reasons. Setting this attribute to true allows the app to communicate with the specified domain using HTTP instead of HTTPS. The domain element specifies the domain to which this configuration applies, include subdomains equals true. This attribute indicates that the configuration also applies to all subdomains of numbersapi.com and www.numbersapi. .com would also be included under this configuration, numbersapi.com. This is the domain for which the configuration is specified. Then reference this configuration in your Android manifest.xml file. So now we are done coding the app, let's test it. So as you can see, the app is working fine. I hope this video was helpful for you. Please like, share and subscribe Android Mate for more interesting videos like this.